throws it down, and this building knows what that means.
Kelsey Mitchell's going, what happened?
On September 4th, the Indiana Fever, led by the unstoppable Caitlin Clark, took on the struggling Los Angeles Sparks in what turned out to be an intense showdown. The Fever have been on fire since the All-Star and Olympic break, nearly unbeatable, while the Sparks have been sinking at the bottom of the standings with a rough 7-25 record. This game was huge not just for Clark and the Fever trying to keep their winning momentum, but for the Sparks desperately trying to break their losing streak. With Clark breaking rookie and even ONBA records, fans couldn't wait to see what kind of performance she'd put on next. Clark's presence alone brings an edge to the game that few can match. From start to finish, this game was a battle. How'd the game go? Was it thrilling as it sounds? If you want to find out, let's get right into the action and break down the gameplay as it unfolded. From the very first whistle, the intensity was off the charts. Indiana came out swinging, setting the pace early. Caitlin Clark wasted no time, delivering a slick bounce pass to Kelsey Mitchell, who drove straight to the hoop for an easy layup.
You can't let Indiana get out of the break, and you can't let Kelsey Mitchell get going because she has...
The Fever looked sharp, but the Sparks were not backing down. Right after that, Derica Hamby responded with a strong two-pointer, showing she wasn't going to make things easy.
Straight with 20 or more. That is a franchise record. She's pulling away a big lead in that category as Hamby showing off the craftiness inside.
Derica Hamby has excellent footwork. She's got quickness.
Aaliyah Boston quickly took control inside the paint for the Fever, muscling her way past defenders for a solid bucket.
Here's Aaliyah Boston going to work on Stevens, and Boston wins the matchup.
You got to test it one-on-one defense.
Then, Lexi Hull made her presence felt, snatching a steal and converting it into a smooth layup, extending Indiana's lead. The Sparks stayed in the fight, though Rickea Jackson nailed an and in one play, cutting into Indiana's momentum.
Improved. Too many turnovers even in that win. This time it's Indiana with the defense. Lexi Hull going coast to coast.
Lexi Hull's play since she became in the starting lineup has been one of the not talked about enough changes for this team. She's certainly athletic.
Clark, however, wasn't going to let the Sparks get comfortable. She launched a deep step back three-pointer, sending the crowd into a frenzy and giving Indiana a 5-point lead.
If Caitlin gets going early,
but Los Angeles wasn't going to let them pull away that easily. Kia Nurse hit a clutch three-pointer just before the quarter ended, cutting the Fever's lead to just 3 points.
she did all the hard stuff and then couldn't finish the...
As the quarter came to a close, Indiana held onto a slim 4-point lead at 2-3-1-9. It was clear this was going to be a back-and-forth battle, with both teams trading shots and keeping the pressure high.
To go. Take us through the first quarter of action with that backcourt of Clark. Your staff. The good fortune here, if you are a fan of Indiana pro basketball, you have maybe the two best passers in the world.
The Sparks were flying everywhere, no pun intended, and Caitlin's leadership was setting the tone for the rest of her team. However, the game was only beginning. The question on everyone's mind was, could Caitlin keep the momentum going, or could the Sparks find a way to turn things around? The second quarter opened with high energy as both teams pushed the pace. Kia Nurse for the Sparks started off by missing a three-pointer, but she quickly made up for it, driving in for a smooth two-pointer that kept the game close.
Early 20s, and both playing in this building. As Nurse misses on a three, there's Lee battling underneath.
Well, it's all about pace, right? Indiana plays, the Pacers play with the fastest pace in the NBA, and you can say that about the...
Caitlin Clark responded almost immediately, attacking the basket with her signature aggression and drawing a foul. She coolly knocked down both free throws, keeping Indiana ahead and adding to her growing tally for the game.
Nice give and go there. Derica Hamby and Kia Nurse who connect. Nurse has 5, and she was terrific in that Sparks upset win here in May. Clark draws the foul and will head to the line.
Derica Dantaz then stepped up for Indiana, taking advantage of a well-timed pass from Clark to extend the Fever's lead with a solid two-pointer. The Sparks, however, were not backing down. Ray Burrell answered right back with a determined two-pointer of her own, showing that Los Angeles had no plans of letting the game slip away just yet.
The reigning player of the week, player of the month, rookie of the month. Clark on the bounce, Dantas charging inside and finishing.
It's a great read because Kia Nurse stunts at the downhill drive, but Lexi Hull is in the corner and you don't want to give up a three to Hull.
McDonald working the baseline. There's Burrell through traffic and a tough finish.
Kia Nurse, finding her rhythm, hit a stunning step-back three-pointer, slicing Indiana's lead down to just a single point. The momentum was clearly shifting.
Here is Nurse stepping back, launching, and hitting a three. Kia Nurse, who's not necessarily known.
Melissa Smith, missing her first shot, stayed persistent and finally connected on a two-pointer for Indiana, keeping the Fever in front.
No look. Oh, and Smith denial, but on a second effort finishes.
But the Sparks were finding their groove, with Nurse adding yet another two-pointer, pushing LA ahead for the first time in the game, 3-0-2-9.
Blitz, Caitlin gets rid of it quickly. You got to move the ball.
And Hamby there to make Indiana pay on the other end. Well, for perspective, Fever turned it over 15 times per game this year, and that's 9th in the WNBA, so it's a little below league average.
The Sparks weren't done yet. Burrell hit a crucial three-pointer, extending their lead to 5 and putting even more pressure on the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell wasn't about to let LA run away with it, though. She connected with a sharp pass from Clark and fired off a three-pointer of her own, cutting into the lead.
In 14 minutes.
They have a -2 turnover margin, a +2 rebounding margin, kind of cancel each other out.
Hole tracking down. Mitchell trying to get this Indiana offense kick-started. That'll help.
Kelsey Mitchell. 14 times this season she's been over the...
But the Sparks kept up the heat. Azura Stevens hit a huge three-pointer, forcing Indiana to rethink their strategy. The Fever needed to find answers on both ends of the court. As the game neared the end of the quarter, Aliyah Boston added another 2 points for Indiana, thanks to another smart assist from Clark. The Sparks, however, continued to fight, with Burrell hitting another jumper to keep the game close.
Azure Stevens.
Azure Stevens went to Cary High School in Cary, North Carolina, home of the Imps. Same place as me. If I had any records, they're gone. They've been.
Clark, showing her brilliant playmaking once again, set up Boston for a tough basket, pushing Indiana back ahead. As the buzzer sounded to end the half, both teams were still battling hard, but it was clear that LA was not going down without a fight.
In the W, when the game slows down and you're a rookie, that's impressive.
Oh, Clark, beautiful find to a cutting Boston. Really nice first half for Boston, who has
At the halftime, Indiana closed the gap, and the score was 4-8-4-7 for Los Angeles. Since the score was so close, the second half promised a lot of action, and from the first possession, it looked like it would deliver. Boston wasted no time, setting the tone early by snatching a critical steal and passing the ball off to Kelsey Mitchell, who charged down the court for a quick 2 points.
Albert got caught in the air and turns it over. Nice hands there by Aliyah Boston. Clark bouncing for Boston and gives it right back. Sims into hole and gets it to go. Off-balance shots.
Melissa Smith quickly followed suit, driving to the hoop and adding another bucket for Indiana, pushing the Fever's lead even further. The Fever were rolling, but the Sparks weren't backing down.
Break. Smith going one-on-one, attacking Hamby and winning the battle.
Indiana no.
Azura Stevens, trying to rally Los Angeles, drilled a crucial three-pointer that sent a jolt through the Sparks bench. The momentum shifted, and the Sparks started to claw back into the game. But Caitlin Clark, ever the floor general, wasn't about to let the Sparks take over.
Out of that play.
Here's Stevens lining up a triple, and Azure Stevens is knocked down 3 from out there.
3 triples, Azure. Shoot till your arm falls off,
Clark responded by driving hard to the basket before dishing out a perfectly timed pass to Boston. Though Boston missed her first attempt, she grabbed her own rebound and put the ball back up, adding 2 more points for Indiana.
There's that blitz. That's the way I want to start it. Kurt Miller has his team blitz, and it results in Aliyah Boston getting away. Staying after it.
The game's pace was relentless. Almost immediately, Derica Hamby broke free from Indiana's defense to score another 2 points for the Sparks, closing the gap once more. Just when it seemed like the Sparks might make a run, Kelsey Mitchell stepped up again for Indiana. She sprinted down the court and nailed a layup, keeping the Fever's lead steady and bringing her personal tally up toward 20 points.
It up, flips it in.
Switch to the right hand, Kelsey Mitchell.
Well, she's on her way to another 20 points. And we are just going to have a little walk to the other end of the court and try this again. False start on the inbound, I think.
Then, the Caitlin Clark show continued. With the score tied, Clark drained a deep three-pointer from beyond the arc, sending the crowd into a frenzy and pushing Indiana back into the lead. Her energy on the court was contagious, and the Fever fed off it.
Clark with 9 points, 7 assists here so far. Clark crossing over and dropping a three.
Clark wasn't done. She followed her three-pointer with a lightning-fast steal, racing down the court and finishing with an easy layup to stretch the Fever's lead to 6. The Sparks were visibly rattled.
Caitlin Clark, so smooth.
Oh, and it's Clark with a steal. Clark off to the races. Sims giving chase. She won't get there.
The Fever's defense tightened up, with Clark grabbing yet another rebound. She pressed the defense hard, pushing the ball up the floor before delivering a perfect pass for another two-pointer, this time to Boston, who was having a standout game herself.
Out to Clark. Clark on the fake, Clark on the drive, behind the back to Boston, extra pass, it's Wheeler!
Put it on the highlight reel.
After failing to defend, Fever ran down the floor where Caitlin took a step back to answer the Sparks and hit a three right in the face of the defense.
3 triples.
Clark trying to answer, you bet!
So good.
This game has kind of felt stuck in second gear for a lot of it, but we are starting to break out of that here as Sims on the drive and draws the foul. Sims misses on the other end. Clark with 19 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. It's amazing how she's gotten to the point where this kind of night is almost what you expect from her. Playing at such a high level.
Run Caitlin off that Iverson action. That's an action they like to run for Kelsey Mitchell.
Nurse weaving her way inside and is called for a carry.
All LA needs to do is keep putting some game pressure.
As the quarter wound down, Stevens attempted to keep the Sparks within striking distance with another clutch shot, but the Fever had built a solid lead. In the closing moments of the third quarter, it was Indiana who had control thanks to Clark's all-around brilliance.
And connect on the three, and 10 seconds for Indiana to try to push.
I don't think Wheeler, yeah, there we go, trying to get the ball to Caitlin Clark.
Does get it to her. Clark.
By the end of the third, the Fever were ahead, 6-9-6-5, and Los Angeles was running out of answers. Clark had once again taken over, guiding her team with both scoring and playmaking. The Sparks were still in it, but they'd need something big to turn things around in the final quarter. The fourth quarter started off with a glimmer of hope for LA, when Ray Burrell nailed a smooth three, cutting the Sparks' deficit down to single digits. But Indiana wasn't backing down.
Being guarded by Mitchell and Clark, and Burrell knocks down a three, and we're back to a point.
Boston answered right back, driving hard to the hoop and finishing a tough layup, keeping the Fever in control. Indiana's offense was clicking, and they had the momentum.
Boston sitting inside, right around McDonald. Beautiful move.
Such a good two-man game.
Caitlin Clark was still running the show, sinking her 5th three-pointer of the night. The crowd went nuts. It wasn't just her scoring, her playmaking was on another level. A few plays later, she tossed a slick behind the back pass to Boston, who laid it in with ease.
Clark, step back, hits a three.
Five triples, Caitlin, go ahead and shoot till your arm falls off.
And Mitchell knocks that one away. Here comes Clark going the other way. Clark going behind the back. Oh!
Indiana's lead kept growing, but the Sparks weren't done yet. Nolissa Smith grabbed an offensive board off a Lexi Hull miss, spun in the paint, and dropped in a key two-pointer, keeping the Fever rolling.
With numbers, and Clark was to Rome. Clark sets up Hull and connects on that three. Smith with the rebound. Oh, pretty spin. And Smith gets it to go.
So tough. An excellent off.
Burrell wasn't about to let Lele go down without a fight. She hit a tough, contested three that just barely found its way in. The Sparks were still hanging on, but Indiana's firepower was proving too much.
Has been exactly what we need of her. Burrell catching. Whoa, way too strong. But Bank is open.
It's a good roll and replace by
Kelsey Mitchell kept up the pressure, knocking down a deep two to push Indiana's lead to 7. Los Angeles tried to rally, with Dearica Hamby making a critical two-pointer, drawing a foul and converting the and-one to cut the lead.
help and leaves the three-point shooter open.
Mitchell, that's a deep two, but she connects. He's now 2 shy of 20.
Hamby wasn't done, hitting another bucket with a foul for a second and 1. And suddenly the Sparks were closing in on a full comeback. But time was running out, and Indiana's team play was too sharp.
Smith getting going here in the 4th quarter. Sims on the take in the finish. This relentlessness of Kurt Miller's young group here. Now, a lot of veterans on floor right now.
With less than 2 minutes left, Boston stepped to the free throw line and hit both clutch shots, pushing the lead back to 6. Then, Melissa Smith came up huge, blocking Hamby's layup attempt, snuffing out any last bit of hope for LA.
That's a really good ATO by Indiana.
With her 12th double-double of the season, and that tops the 11 she had a year ago.
In the final minute, Lexi Hull grabbed a key rebound and drew a foul, hitting both her free throws to put Indiana firmly in control.
Impressive. And it's back to a 3-possession game. LA will use their reset timeout here, and this is just an advancement of the ball. No huddle. Clark still a rebound shy of triple-double.
Run the set play.
It's up. It won't go. Clark pulls it down, and this building knows what that means.
Burrell managed to get a late layup for LA, but it wasn't enough. Clark iced the game with 2 more free throws, sealing the deal. As Kia Nurse missed a last-chance 3, the ball landed in Clark's hands, and the crowd at Wintrust Arena erupted. Not only they knew the game was over, but they were well aware that Caitlin just got another triple-double. We'll talk about the historic significance of this in a minute. The Indiana Fever walked off the court with a solid 9-3-8-6 victory. Caitlin's amazing rookie season continued with this game. In the end, she got 24 points, 10 assists, and with the last-second rebound, she rounded up 10 boards. That allowed her to become the first rookie in league history to have more than 1 triple-double during the regular season. But that's not all. She's only the 6th player overall in on-bot to have multiple triple-doubles, the fastest player to do it as well. After a clunky beginning, Caitlin Clark has been on fire from downtown. In this game, she became the first rookie to hit over 100 three-pointers. Individually, these records are great, but what's even more impressive is the fact that her team has been balling in this Pasican part of the season. With this victory, their post-break record was 7-1, and they've secured a spot in the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. While not all first picks become franchise players, Caitlin has definitely lived up to the expectations. For some, she's even surpassed them. We don't want to just speak on Clark, though. In this game, Aaliyah Boston played her mind out with 24 points and 14 rebounds. As the Fever coach, Christy Sides, said, the team has nothing more to prove. They're focusing on performing well in their first playoff run in a long time without any pressure whatsoever.